We talking to DJ Obey. He gonna be talking to us about how he got started and what he did to get through and start his own business in DJing. Let's get it.
What up? I'm DJ Obey. I like music. I have a passion for DJing.
Alright, we rolling and we don't know what we doing.
That's right.
We just doing this.
Right,
so let's just get started with how long you been DJing for?
I've been DJing since, I want to say 99, so gosh, close to 20 years. It's been
20
like
years?
17, 18. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 18 years. You know, I've been
18.
DJing, and it started out with going to like these. A buddy of mine got me into these like hip hop shows that were underground, and a lot of like the beat junkie artists with like the Visionaries and who else were we looking in there? Afu Ra. Just a lot of dope underground artists going on at that time, and I was tripping out on like these DJs getting down with like just sick records and a lot of turntablism.
And how old were you again?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Pretty dumb.
Yeah.
So how did you feel after that when you got home?
So after going to a few of these shows, I was like, you know what? I want to try this. I want to like get my own records and spin my own kind of music, and start playing my own stuff. And the turntablism factor is sort of what triggered that. And so I started looking into it. And back then, there really wasn't the internet. I mean, it was just kind of beginning. So I was able to find out through different record stores and things. And I got a pamphlet for some big outlet that sold stuff in New York. Anyways, I ordered this set, from New York, and I buy a few records. Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die was like just coming out, and what is it? The Movement.
No, why was he the first records you bought?
Oh, Notorious B.I.G. He had he was a hit. Tupac was a hit at the time. I was really feeling those two guys. I was feeling A Tribe Called Quest.
What was the first two albums that you mixed together?
So here's the thing, right? Like, it's new to you. You just want to kind of play some records. And at the time, those were the two records that sort of stood out to me. But I bought a good handful. I think like 5, 6, 7 different records. Some were singles, so I could mess around with the instrumentals. And, I really wanted to just kind of play with it a little bit. DJing was not what it seemed, especially when you first started. Like, those guys make it look easy. And then you start to really just, every day you wake up, you want to get on your turntables. And I got familiar with the records. And, I live in Laverne. When I first got my set, and in Pomona, there was some of the underground hip hop scene kind of going on, and there's this cool record shop called The Globe.
The Globe?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember The Globe.
I remember The Globe.
Yeah.
It's so close. Right?
Yeah. So I go to The Globe and go digging in the crates. Try and get a lot of music that I was really into, the underground hip hop stuff. And I was just buying 45s of like reggae. Basically just buying music that interested me, And I would just go in my room and practice and practice. And
how did your parents take this with you practicing?
it was okay. At the time I was only able to afford the turntables and the mixers, so I basically mixed in my headphones. And so I was pretty quiet.
No.
I wasn't blaring hip hop, so my parents.
So she was cool if you bump some country music or something, she'd be good?
Yeah. And
she'd be a little more understanding.
Yeah. Well, and I was only home for a short period of time, too. So, it's... when I first got the turntables, I think I was, like, home for the summer, and I had moved out towards the end of that summer. So I got my own place. And right out of high school, so I had to pay rent and pay bills. And just starting out learning how to DJ, you're just kind of just spending what money you can on records, and, practicing and just playing. And then I got, I started to get a few crates going. We started to practice and hone my skills, and that's kind of how it sort of began.
Tell us a story about you finding your first gig.
Like backyard parties. I was doing
for free,
my friends.
just to get started.
Yeah, just to have a good time.
Just to
bring my records and get down and spin and
just to get your feet wet, right? And get used to it and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. So it. And you feel good, and you're kind of comfortable now. I could blend, records. I can beat match, essentially, so I can go to a backyard and feel comfortable, because once you learn how to beat match, then you could essentially figure out, back then, what I was doing was listening to a lot of my records over and over and over and over and over, and getting a feel for the BPMs. I didn't have a BPM counter, but I could tell a slow song from a fast song to a somewhat fast song, and I would find out records that matched well together, and then sort of, that's how you built your crate, you stack your set.
Okay.
And so I got comfortable and definitely.
Now, who helped you with all the things?
I think like anything, if you get into something, in my case, DJing, you're gonna get in that sort of crowd and that culture, and you're gonna find out about, the Globe and was it Fat Records or Fat Beats down there up Melrose. And
so through friends, through the
and then from there,
networking,
you're in the scene, right? Like you're around a bunch of other DJs like you. There's MCs that are like, doing their stuff, and you kind of just find out about, different things going on, and you just, once you're in the scene, you just find out about record shops, Amoeba Records, all these different record stores that are around.
What do you think about DJs today?
It's just the next level. It's a whole new level now. I mean, there's a lot more creativity that you can do today than you could have done 15 years ago.
You hop on that way?
Absolutely. I mean, you can see my mixer. I like the idea of being able to utilize samples and have a lot of these effects that you can now, work into your mixes, and you can do a lot of cool stuff immediately, with the technology now of not having to carry those crates, those back-breaking crates, it definitely makes it a lot easier on the DJ, especially 2 years after I got into DJing and got better and understanding the turntablism and being immersed in that underground hip-hop scene. And the Celebration House was a place where, poets would come and do open mic. We'd have MC battles. We had graffiti artists doing wonderful murals on the wall. And, we had different nights for different things. So, like, we had the break dancers coming in, doing the popping and locking and the, the athletic acrobatic sort of, break dancing and stuff. So, my boy Understand would maybe be like mixing breaks in one room, and I would be handling like the open mic, and I'd just be DJing to MCs and just throwing on instrumentals and scratching and getting down, and everybody in that scene at the time was just had a passion for hip hop, and the culture of hip hop, and you'd see like people outside, just MC battling, like the story like the 8 Mile and Eminem. That scene, like you saw in that movie, was going on where I was, what I mean? Just dope battle competitions to win some money, and, Project Blowed came through there, Visionaries came through there, Beat Junkies came through there to do sets, and, that was just probably the most fun I ever had. I just really enjoyed it. It was probably the highlight of my DJing career, even though today now I've worked into the mobile scene, now I do weddings and Sweet 16s, and, aside from like doing the free stuff, keep in mind, when I was starting doing this backyard stuff, I was showing up with a couple of Bose speakers and a receiver. So when I was working, I finally had gotten like, tax back. I got my tax money back. I went and bought some speakers and an amp, and just wanted to have that, so if I was to do a backyard party, whether it was in my own backyard or someone else's backyard, I wanted to have this proper sound, right? So I think it started out like I started charging, because now it's like, I could mix, I could beat match, I could pick songs, I could produce something for people. So I don't know who, I don't remember the actual story of how I transitioned into the mobile business, but I remember that friends of either mine or Diana's started asking me, can you do our wedding? And I was like, are you sure? Like, okay. So I had to run and go get a mic real fast. And I think I started doing weddings and my first gigs, thank goodness, after Serato had come out.
After Serato come out.
Yes. I did not.
Cause like you said before, it made it a lot more
it made it
simpler to work with.
Yeah.
To get in the hustle because you're a one-man squad.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I got the speakers, I got the amp, I bought a Mac computer and a microphone. You know, and then at the time I had a bunch of CDs because I had some CDJs too. And so you start, you know, where do I get my music? I now have Serato and I want to have all this music now to play, you know, but I have all this vinyl. So you find like you're getting a bunch of CDs and you're dropping them into MP3s so that way you can go and do weddings. So you're buying like the best of Journey, the best of, you know, all these different
bands. Stuff. Forget the CD, just the best stuff.
Nice. So
you know, good way to save money.
Grab the hits, you know,
and leave the rest. Oh yeah. So what's a good shoe to wear when you DJing?
Adidas.
Adidas?
Yeah.
Adidas. Just Adidas? You got like a Ultra Boost?
Well, the Ultra Boost I got like outside of my closet, stacks like 4 or 5 high.
What kind of guy are you? You a Nike guy? You a Adidas guy? Reebok?
So you know how it is.
Tommy Hilfiger?
Yeah.
What kind of kicks you wear? Are you all of them?
I'm Adidas.
Or you just you Adidas guy?
All day.
All day Adidas.
Yeah, all day Adidas.
Wait, first, you love shoes?
I love shoes. It is.
How many pairs of shoes do you own?
Well, let me say this. I have not been collecting very long, alright? It doesn't mean my passion for shoes isn't there. It just means it took me a while to financially get there to be able to afford buying shoes. And then it becomes, you know, and I really got heavy into the sneaker game probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I mean, I really started getting into like, you know, magazines and you know, different, just sneaker freaker, you know, just different stuff. You know, it's a huge culture. And so, you know, that's just now a part of my everyday life. You know, I can appreciate the art behind, you know, the design and the colorways. And that's what attracted me to the shoes, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, comfort is huge for me. Comfort? Yeah, it's definitely a big thing. But there are some classics, right? You know, the shell toe, the Adidas shell toe. I mean, you know, Run DMC put that on the map. Which I do have a YouTube channel, by the way, and I got a Facebook and an Instagram.
What is it?
Just search Acrobatic Hands.
Acrobatic Hands.
Acrobatic Hands.
That's an interesting name. How you get that name?
So, I came up with it. It's not my DJ name. It's just sort of something I thought of because the DJs, when you're doing like beat juggling and turntablism, sort of reminisces about like acrobatics. You know, you're on the mixer, you're flipping, you're doing things, and so acrobatic hands. Make like a bunch of leaflets with like just your name and like a business card.
Don't tell them, because people gonna be watching this and they gonna be up there like, oh, I'm gonna take that. You thought you almost had it. Find out next week what he was talking about.
It's fly, I'll tell you that.
Ooh, it's fly. You gave him too much. Thanks, brother.
If you want to check out me and see what this channel is all about, go check out my first interview. I posted up. Bam. Right there. Up there somewhere. It should be around there somewhere. And then Courtney Bang, his video is right there. That's gonna be like episode 2. Next Friday. Courtney Bang Rice. Courtney Bang Rice.